Hello everyone, my name is the Rad Man, and we are here to do some Courseplay tutorials. More specifically, I'm going to show you guys how to use the Combine Self-Unloading mode in Courseplay. So what you're going to want to do is just set it to Combine Self-Unloading. You're going to start your course recording, and basically before you start recording you're going to want to make sure that you have a trailer somewhere along your route that you can drive to. And I'd recommend just going from one end of the field to the other. And this is a general rule with most courses, but always try to make sure that you can drive in a really straight line for at least three points, because that just helps with path finding later on. And then when you get to the end of the field, just stop it. And now I would just call this, for instance, field 15 combine self unload. Just combine self and then, self unload. And the way that you use this is you actually will need to hire a worker, which is, I believe this is one of the, there might only be one other, if even one other, that actually has you hire a worker, because this course will not work without a worker hired. But now that a worker's hired, I can start Courseplay, and then we're going to jump over into the settings tab. And then what we're going to do is the start at can be just set down to 0 because the worker is automatically starting and stopping with Courseplay. But this drive on stat is what we want, so we're going to say that when this combine is full, it's going to drive on, which basically means that it will, as soon as it's full, it'll unhire the worker, and then Courseplay's AI will take over, and it will try and drive over, I think about over here is where the waypoint is. And what it'll do is it'll try and drive this course, and then using the waiting point that was set, it'll unload into this trailer. And then Courseplay is actually smart enough that when it gets to the end, it will automatically pathfind back to where it was in this field and then restart the worker. So it's going to take a minute, but I'll just show you guys what that looks like when we're full. Okay guys, we are just about full. We're at 93%, and if it doesn't look like we're going to get to 100% by the end of this row, I'll just go in and bump the setting down from 100% to 95%, but it looks like we are going to get full, which is good. Come on, 98. Yeah, we're going to bump down that setting before it goes to turnaround. Boop. So you can see immediately once I changed it, it got a little drive to waypoint message and it unhired the worker. So now what it's going to do is it's going to try and drive to, it's finicky. Sometimes it drives to the second waypoint of the 3, sometimes the first. But the reason that it's recommended you put 3 in a straight line is if it does go for the second waypoint, most machines can turn around and straighten out by the third waypoint. But if the third waypoint is curving away, like for instance if this third waypoint was curving too far, in the direction of the field, then the combine would just end up spinning circles around it, which is not very helpful. And that's another reason I would recommend keeping the trailer a little bit away, is depending on how far the combine takes to even out, you don't want it to get stuck in traffic behind your trailer, because then if it does it, from this side of the field, who's to say it's not going to do it from anywhere in the field. But anyway, we'll let this finish, and then we'll watch the combine go. And we're gonna, at this point, you guys could either just, manually drive this back and forth from the silo, but I am gonna show you guys how to set up a grain transport course. Just because this is something you would want to go along with, a combine self-unloading course, because if you're working on stuff, you don't really want to have to come and manually empty the trailer if you went to all the trouble of setting up this combine to do its own thing automatically. So what you're going to want to do is make sure you don't move the tractor before you start the course recording, and make sure you're in grain transport mode. And then you're just simply going to drive over to the silo, and where we're in grain transport mode, it doesn't matter if we drive under the spout. It won't try and load it or anything, because that's just not the mode we're in. And then we'll stop here and unload. Um, and Courseplay will automatically detect triggers and stuff, so we don't have to worry about it missing that, since we didn't set a waypoint or anything. I keep calling them waypoints. They're wait points, but I keep forgetting the T. Anyway, and then what you're going to want to do is just get decently close and then stop. And then if you hit drive course, we're going to want it to start at if we do nearest waypoint, what it should do is drive forward to this waypoint. There we go. And then it'll just stop here. Very nice. And you can see that the combine, whoops, has already got itself back on track. So now with the combination of these two courses, you could pretty much automate however big of a field you wanted with this. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could even do field 5. I mean, it would take you hours and hours with this small of a combine, but this concept is very good for a small farm, because you can have the combine working. It's not quite as efficient as running, say, a combi mode course, which is what I'll show you in the next tutorial, but it's still a very good alternative to just hiring a worker and manually doing stuff yourself. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Next episode, I'll show you how to set up a combi mode course, which is where the combine stays in the field either as, I actually don't know if it'll work as a hired worker in this case, but for the purposes of just showing you guys the most in every video, I'll also show you how to use the course generator for the combine, as well as setting up combi mode on the trailer. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful to you. So I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!